morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. Your love changes everything. There's something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes every. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love, something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything, changes everything. Something about your love, something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing.
Hey, good morning, Rooted Men. Pastor Tom, and I am doing it from the house. Thank you for your prayers for my bride. She was up and about a little bit yesterday, hopefully a little bit more today. I'm working from home, still trying to serve her and make sure that everything's good. It is so good to be able to, work here, work at the office, work at Fernwood at Greendale. The modern technology allows a past a lot of things, and so good that we can do these devotions in the morning. And it looks like we're live in all the right places, so that is good news. Let me know that you can see me, and I had to make some adjustments today. I think my microphone is on, so would just like to have a couple thumbs up or something. Just let me know. Live with me. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? And we're also in Mark chapter 5, by the way. So I invite you to go to that if you would like. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Okay. Nobody is responding yet. So I'm going to assume, I guess, that I'm on. All right. All right. It, but I guess I can't. Oh, maybe I could if I played what's on the phone. Okay. Nobody yet. I'm in. So, all right. I'm going to assume. So there we go. All right. All right, guys. The feed is a little choppy, says Chuck B. All right. Well, that's interesting. Maybe that's an internet thing. Let's see. Do that. Are we a little better now? Is our internet less choppy? Please let me know. So can you hear me and can you see me? Does it look good? We're going to be looking at Mark chapter 5. Jesus raises a dead girl and heals a sick woman. What we're experiencing is Jesus is doing exactly what we would expect. He's reversing the curse. So any brokenness that sin has brought into the world, he is reversing that. And so we're going to look at that. Let's just say hi to a few people and then I'll get going. I'm on board out there in all those places. Saying to you, good morning, Rooted Men. Let's be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. We got Ken Gooch. Congratulations, Grandpa. Good morning, fellow brothers in arms. I'm out there in Rumble. Bert Reggiani, good morning. Brian, good morning. Chuck, good morning. Bert says it's still choppy. All right. It could be the weather. It could be the fog. I'm not sure. But let's do this the best that we can. So let me share my screen here. I should go in a corner. Now you should see the text. Jesus raises a dead girl and heals a sick woman. So one of the things I want you all to pay attention to is that Jesus sometimes intentionally gets someplace, like where that demoniac is with a legion of demons. Sometimes people come to him, which I wish I would see more of in today's Christianity. That you and I are simply saying to friends, family, neighbors, just come see, right? This has impacted me tremendously, and I think it could impact you. So kind of like trying to invite people to come see Jesus and argue like, so you waste an hour at church. I mean, that's the biggest risk you have, or possibly God meets a need. But any rate, when Jesus had crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, so now he's going back and forth and back and forth. Excuse me. A large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus, so now one of the leaders of a synagogue, his name is Jairus, came to Jesus. Why? He heard Jesus could perform miracles. He fell at Jesus' feet and he pleaded with him earnestly, "My daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live. So Jesus went with him. Listen, look at the confidence of Jairus. Come, lay your hands on my, and she will be healed and live. I believe in you. I mean, I don't know everything about you, but I believe in the things that you've done. I know that you're reversing the curses of sin and death, and my daughter's about to die. And so please come. And it says Jesus went with him. Just beautiful. That maybe if you bring someone to church, bring someone to men's group, bring someone to Bible study, share these devotions with someone, it just might be enough of a hook that it draws them into the truth. So now a large crowd is kind of pressing in with Jesus because his popularity is growing. And imagine him walking through the streets and walking down paths, and so people are all kind of, where's he going? What are we doing? Blah blah, and they're all wanting to be part of it. So a large crowd followed and pressed around him, and now a woman was there on the streets amidst the crowd. And she had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. Now, let's talk about Jewish customs and laws. That means that she was unclean, and so she really shouldn't have been around all those people. So for 12 years, she has lived most of her life out like a leper almost, out in the outskirts of the city or the town. She has not had any physical contact of love, compassion, praying, hugs, kisses, nothing, because she's unclean. She's been unclean for 12 years. But for some reason, she's compelled to get close to the crowd and even break that traditional law. She wants to get near Jesus. So not only she's not being invited by someone, she's heard about some things and now she's coming, right? So some of the things we could do is just talk about some of the miraculous things happening at Firmly Rooted, and maybe somebody will tell somebody who tells somebody, and before you know it, somebody comes to church because of that domino effect. But at any rate, she went to doctors and she tried everything and she never got any better. And when she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd. And now the decision is, what do I do? I don't want to bring attention to myself. A lot of the people in this crowd aren't from this town, so they don't recognize me. And so she thinks to herself, what if I just reach out and touch his clothes? Then I'll be healed. Like, just touch his robe. If I could just reach out and touch his robe, might that get me close enough to Jesus that I could be healed, that I could gain some of that healing power he carries within himself? If I could just touch his robe. She's not screaming and yelling, hey, Jesus, stop, pay attention to me. Hey, heal me. She just silently wants to reach out and touch his clothes. And she does so. And immediately her bleeding stopped. And she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. Of course she did. Whatever that must have felt like to be in that bleeding state for 12 years, all of a sudden it just stopped. Because she touched his robes. There's so many things I want to say right now about where do we need healing and what do we need to be delivered from, and what kind of change do we need broken. And we don't think God loves us enough or cares about us enough. And this woman, she didn't even want Jesus' attention. All she wanted to do is touch his robe. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out of him, and that makes sense too, because the power of the Spirit's within him, and he's in tune with how that Spirit's moving. And he turned around to the crowd and says, who touched my clothes? Very specific question. Not who touched my hand, not who touched my arm. And obviously, and they're going to say it, you see the people crowding against you, his disciples answered, and yet you can ask, who touched me? No, I asked who touched my clothes. He's looking for someone specific. He knows people are bumping into him and everybody's bumping into each other as they're walking down this path or down this street. He knows that. And his disciples aren't quick enough yet to say, whoa, 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 he means something really important. But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. He's supposed to be on his way to Jairus's house to save his daughter, and he's stopping the whole procession. And all these people are bumping into him and talking, and now they don't even know what in the world he's doing as he's trying to find that individual who touched him. He kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened, came and fell at his feet, trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. There it is. She came to him. This is her response. Her response to God's grace is she came, fell at his feet, trembling, worshiping, praising, because an awesome thing had happened to her, beyond her wildest dreams, but certainly was a wish that maybe if I touched his garment, I would be healed. And it's exactly what happened. And she is overwhelmed, and she tells Jesus the whole story. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering." Your faith. Your faith in God, and not in all these doctors and medical people and theologians and people who are trying to tell you why you're sick and how you can get better. Your 100% surrender to God to be the only way in which you might be healed, the only way in which you might be set free. You're 100% letting go and then holding on. Letting go of the kingdom of this world and holding on to his kingdom and trusting and believing that has made you well. Now you can go in peace, and you are now free from your suffering. Whew. Gentlemen, what is the condition? Physical, spiritual, social, psychological? What is the condition that you and I may have that is like this woman's condition? It's been going on for years. I mask it. I cover it up. I don't want to deal with it. Nobody's going to do anything about it. I've tried this. I've tried that. I can't conquer it. When are we going to try to reach out and touch his robes? When are we going to let go of the kingdom of this world and 100% in reckless abandonment trust that a good Father loves us, and that if we can just get near Jesus, everything could change? All right. I'm going to finish this story up because he's still got to go to Jairus's house, and Jairus in a moment is going to get some bad news. He's going to be told not to bother Jesus anymore because his daughter's dead. This pause, this taking care of this woman with a great flow of blood for 12 years may have, from the kingdom of this world's perspective, allowed Jesus to help one person, but not help the other. Now, we know that's not how it ends, but just imagine how they're thinking. We got to take this stuff in. Sometimes we think, oh, well, God, you help that person, you're not going to help me. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. Let me see who else popped on board. Oh, Brian's got a comment here, so let me see if I can get it. As you said about the man who had the legion of demons, when he was healed, he went out and told everyone he could about Jesus. I've often wondered about this woman. What happened to her afterwards? I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think a lot of the people that Jesus healed couldn't help but go find someone else that needed healing. That's why at night people were just constantly bringing people to Jesus. Well, who were the people bringing people? Sick people who were made well went and got other sick people, right? And so, it should be the addict that has been redeemed and saved going to find another addict, right? The person who found their relationship reconciled, helping someone bring them to Jesus so that their relationship can be reconciled. So I would think that's exactly what happened with this woman, is that she spent her days bringing people to Jesus. But great question, Brian. All right, gentlemen, I hope that this devotion has been a blessing to you. Have a great day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.